The kingdom of Eldoria, a land of ancient forests and fertile valleys, had known peace for generations. Under the benevolent rule of King Alaric, the people prospered. But you know, all reigns must end. King Alaric's health faded with the setting sun each day. His son Keumerth, a young man of keen intellect and quiet strength, watched with a heavy heart. The weight of the coming days pressed upon him. The day arrived like a thief in the night, stealing away the last vestiges of life from the beloved king. Grief swept through the kingdom, but amidst the sorrow, Keumerth stood tall. He was ready. With a heavy heart but unwavering resolve, Keumerth accepted the crown of Eldoria. He vowed to uphold his father's legacy of peace and prosperity. The people, though mourning, found hope in their new king's eyes. The early years of Keumerth's reign were marked by his dedication to his people. He travelled his kingdom, listening to their concerns, offering aid and dispensing justice with a fair hand. He knew that true leadership meant understanding his people's needs. Keumerth possessed a sharp mind. He reformed outdated laws, bolstered Eldoria's defences, and encouraged trade with neighbouring kingdoms. Eldoria flourished under his guidance, its coffers overflowing, its people content. But peace, like all things, is a fleeting thing. From the distant borders, whispers of a new threat began to trickle in. Raiders, fierce and brutal, led by the ruthless warlord known only as Kael, were encroaching upon Eldoria's borders. At first, these were just whispers, easily dismissed. Yet, as the days turned into weeks, the whispers grew louder, more insistent. Refugees fleeing from Kael's advance began to arrive at Eldoria's borders, their tales stark and terrifying. Keumerth listened, his brow furrowed with concern. He knew that the time for peace might be ending. He would have to prepare his kingdom for the storm that was brewing on the horizon. The safety of Eldoria and its people rested on his shoulders. Section 4. The Crimson Flood. The idyllic peace of Eldoria was shattered. Kael's forces, a crimson tide of violence, surged across the border, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. Villages were razed, fields burned, and the peaceful rhythm of life was replaced by the clang of steel and the screams of the innocent. Keumerth, his heart heavy with sorrow, donned his armour. The time for diplomacy was over. He would defend his kingdom with every fibre of his being. He rode out at the head of his army, his face a mask of grim determination. The two armies met on the field of whispering grass, a once serene meadow now poised to be drenched in blood. The clash was deafening, the air thick with the stench of sweat, fear and death. Keumerth, wielding his father's sword, fought with the fury of a cornered lion. Section 5. A King's Wisdom. The battle raged for hours, a chaotic whirlwind of steel and fury. Despite their courage, the Eldorian army began to falter against the relentless onslaught of Kael's forces. The tide seemed to be turning against them. Seeing his army wavering, Keumerth knew that brute strength wouldn't win the day. He needed a plan, and fast. He retreated to his command tent, his mind racing, desperately seeking a solution. He unfurled a map of the region, his fingers tracing the contours of the land. And then he saw it, a narrow pass easily overlooked, but one that could give his army the advantage it needed. It was a risky plan, but Keumerth knew it was their only hope. He summoned his most trusted captains and laid out his strategy, his voice calm and steady despite the turmoil in his heart. Section 6. Legacy Forged in Fire. The Eldorian army, reinvigorated by their king's leadership, launched a desperate counterattack. They lured Kael's forces into the narrow pass, where the larger army's numbers became their undoing. The tide of the battle turned. The final confrontation was brutal. Keumerth and Kael, two leaders locked in a desperate struggle for survival, clashed amidst the carnage. In the end, it was Keumerth, his courage fueled by his love for his people, who emerged victorious. With Kael's defeat, the crimson tide receded. The kingdom of Eldoria was safe, thanks to the courage and wisdom of its king. Keumerth returned to his capital, not as a conquering hero, but as a weary leader who had seen too much bloodshed. The memory of the war never left him, but neither did the lessons it taught him. King Keumerth ruled wisely and well, always remembering that true strength lay not in might, but in the courage to lead with both heart and mind. His tale became legend, a testament to the enduring power of wisdom and courage in a world forever teetering between darkness and light.